Hi, my name is Matt Harris. Today I'm going to tell you about the dire need to switch to an alternative fuel source other than that of gasoline. We currently use crude oil in order to make gasoline, which powers our motor vehicles, but this source of fuel is becoming more and more expensive and difficult to obtain. As we all know, the price of gasoline is now climbing back up towards those record highs that they were not so long ago, and shows no sign of coming down and staying there. This means only one thing, and that is something has to change. The solution to this growing problem we are all facing is to start using an alternative fuel source. The switch to a new fuel source can create nothing more than a positive impact because things are as bad now as they can be. Some may say that they are used to driving their vehicles on gasoline and they would not want to make the switch, but they are wrong because using oil is only holding us back from using new and improved ways to powering our motor vehicles. Using crude oil, which is used to make gasoline, is an inefficient and expensive way to power our vehicles. Times have changed and we need something better. We need an alternative fuel. Some of our alternatives include liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, compressed natural gas, CNG, liquefied natural gas, LNG, methanol, M85, ethanol, E85, biodiesel, B20, electricity, and hydrogen. Each of these alternatives can be found or produced in mass quantities, so they're a possible option for us to use for daily individual transportation. Almost all of these alternatives also just so happen to be more fuel efficient than oil and are safer to obtain. An alternative like compressed natural gas, CNG, for example, is very efficient, giving you about a 130 octane rating and is easy on your engine, so it will promote a longer engine life. According to afdc.energy.gov, a CNG powered vehicle gets about the same fuel economy as a conventional gasoline vehicle on a gallon per gasoline equivalent, or GEE basis. End quote. Compressed natural gas also gives fewer emissions and would be convenient because there is already a pipeline structure in place to distribute it to urban areas. Unfortunately, though, the fuel tanks take up more space than gasoline tanks and are also a fossil fuel like gasoline and will run out at some point in time, leading us to the same situation we're in now, just delaying the inevitable. We started using liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, we would have a domestically available clean burning fuel source. Liquefied petroleum gas is not only convenient, but it also has performance enhancing benefits to your vehicle and is environmentally friendly as well. Liquefied petroleum gas, or propane as it's commonly referred to, is already a widely used fuel source with filling stations spread around this country. If we made the switch to this fuel source, we would then be able to go farther on the same amount of liquefied petroleum as gasoline because it is more energy dense and also just so happens to have the lowest flammability range out of all of our alternatives, meaning that it can burn at very low temperatures. Unlike liquefied petroleum, methanol and ethanol are both alternatives that have an alcohol base to them. In fact, Henry Ford's first car was fueled with alcohol, as found by www.energyquest.gov. Ethanol has a corn base added to it, and methanol is a wood alcohol. Both methanol and ethanol are similar in their energy output and happen to be more than that of regular gasoline. Methanol is what NASCAR racers use to power their vehicles because of the high power output that is available, and ethanol is used more often in regular vehicles, sometimes seen at gas stations as E85. They are both a very convenient option because they're already being used in some of our vehicles now and just have to be used by the general mass public. Biodiesel is an alternative or an additive to diesel fuel that is made from animal fat and plant oils. In fact, as said by www.greenerchoices.org, biodiesel was among the first automotive fuels and is now the fastest growing alternative in transportation fuel. End quote. It is an alternative that can be used in diesel engines in either mixed form B20 or entirely pure B100. Unfortunately, biodiesel is not as fuel efficient as regular diesel gas or gasoline, and it does increase nitrogen dioxide emissions, which create smog. It is an alternative that can be used in diesel engines with little to no modifications to the engines already, and just so happens to lubricate the moving parts of the engine to promote a longer engine life. Hydrogen, our last alternative fuel type, is the fuel of the future, one that gives off nearly no emissions at all, only heat and water vapor. Although hydrogen is the most abundant element found on Earth's atmosphere, it is costly to obtain because it is not found all by itself. You have to split the atoms of hydrogen out of another compound, like water, which requires a lot of energy. This fuel source would be the most environmentally friendly and readily available, except that its drawbacks to using it are great, including less fuel mileage than gasoline, expensive to ship and make, and would require a fuel tank about the size of the trunk of a typical passenger vehicle. There are plenty of options that we have that I've shown you today, that I've brought to your attention today, and all we need to do is pick the best one and commit to it. The world is running out of crude oil and gasoline, and we need to start using one of our alternatives now. Some alternatives may cost a little more, or may not get as good a fuel economy as gasoline, but hey, we're using all of this fossil fuel up, and we cannot just wait around until crude oil finally runs out. Either way, we have options, and one has to be chosen, because times have changed, and oil is too costly to power our vehicles off of now, and we have to make a choice on an alternative fuel. Thanks for your time.